Hi everybody, it's me, Sam. Today, as we move forward with our argumentative essay, which is a pretty big deal, I want to talk about how to argue. And what I found with these essays is that students often treat them just like a regular old research paper, where you heap on the outside resources and you rely on other writers to prove your points for you, and you miss the whole point of this assignment in general. So what is the point of this assignment? Well, the point of this assignment is to persuade your reader. That's it. You make a point, and you try and persuade your reader that your point is the right one. So this presentation is how to argue like a kid, kind of. Okay? Because the important thing here is to simplify. You just need to simplify your argument. Remember, all you're trying to do is persuade your reader. Okay, so let's imagine here's a couple of kids having a debate, apparently. We're going to simplify. We're going to try and simplify our arguments. And this means don't overwhelm with facts, okay? So let's do an example. Now let's say you and I are both 8. We're a couple of 8-year-olds, and we're on the playground, and I say, "Did you know that aliens exist?" And you're like, "No way, man. They definitely don't exist. I totally know that they don't exist." And I say, "No, I'm exactly sure that they exist." Okay, well, here's our debate. My point is, aliens exist, and that's what I'm trying to persuade you to believe, right? Now, I could start by saying, you know that alien sightings have been reported for thousands of years. In fact, in 1066, one gentleman by the name of such and such, reported an alien sighting that was also reported by blah, blah, blah. In 1941, something happened. Okay, this is a history of alien sightings. This doesn't prove that aliens exist. It's totally irrelevant. Now let's think about your own assignment. Let's say you're trying to persuade your reader that, let's say kill shelters in the ASPCA should be abolished. There should be no more kill shelters. You could give this huge history of the ASPCA, but it's irrelevant because it doesn't prove your point that kill shelters should be gone, right? The history of the ASPCA isn't a proof that you're right. It's just a history. It's just a whole bunch of facts, and it's overwhelming. Okay, so you have to decide what facts are relevant, and you have to decide what facts are irrelevant. The only facts that are relevant are the facts that prove your point. That's it. So, in this case, with aliens existing, I could say, you know that the government has aliens in their possession. Aliens exist. They're here, and the government has them in jail in New Mexico. Well, that's a pretty relevant fact. That actually proves my point. Whether or not it's true is kind of the next step, okay? You also have to evaluate those facts, obviously. Now, we'll get into that in a second. Okay, the next thing you can do is appeal to authority. We all did this as a kid, right? You say, "How do you know that aliens exist?" And I'm like, "Well, because my mother saw one." And who's a better authority than your mother, right? Okay, so as an 8-year-old, that might work. My mom saw an authority. I mean, my mom saw an alien, and she's the smartest person in the whole world, obviously. That's the simple appeal to authority. Now, as adults, we need to evaluate that authority. What does my mother know about aliens? And also, did she really see an alien? Is that a true story? Probably not. Okay, but in our case, you will find the authorities that that are relevant to your argument, and you'll cite them. This doesn't mean that you rely exclusively on them. It's still your argument to make. So when you rely on authority, you're bringing in one or two ideas. You may even just cite their name in your own personal discussion of the topic. Okay, so you can appeal to authority, you can evaluate the authority. Now this is kind of tricky because there is kind of a difference between an expert and an authority. An authority like my mother, in this case, may or may not know the truth about aliens, right? But an expert like this one, hey, hey there, I'm an alien and I exist. Well, that's an expert testimony. So think about that. Think about the difference between an authority and an expert. Okay, moving on. All of this is basically to simplify. I want you to just simplify. Remember, the only points you make are the points that prove that you're right. Okay, so sometimes when we argue like a kid, we attack the character of the other kid, right? So I say, hey, aliens totally exist. My mom said so. And you say, oh yeah? Well, you smell. Again, that's totally irrelevant. This is an irrelevant bit of information. It has nothing to do with whether or not aliens exist. You know, my smell is a very personal thing to me as an 8-year-old, and it really is outside of the realm of the argument. So this comes up in more political discussions. So if political or emotionally charged discussions, if you try and attack the character of your opposition, it's irrelevant, and basically you lose the argument. Present facts, and you'll be more successful every time. Okay, so again, this whole discussion is basically about keeping it simple as you move forward. I'll talk a little more about authority next week. But simplify. Just remember, what is going to prove your point? That's it. That's all you need. We don't need a huge history of your topic. We don't need vast quotes from articles here and there. We need a solid, simple discussion. And we need points that are going to prove that you are right. All right. That's what we got. So hit me up with questions this week. It's a fun assignment. It's a tricky assignment. And what I want for each of you is to be successful. I want to read your essays and be fully persuaded. All right. Good luck.